All right. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Brazos Podcast número 5, number 5. Very stoked to be here. Coruja, how you doing, my friend? Good to have you.
Uh, I'm doing well, man. Just getting used to this shape here.
I love the haircut. It looks really good.
Yeah, it's gonna take a while for me to get used to it because it's been a while since I've done this, but it feels better on warm weather, and surfing. It's so good to feel the water, getting through
For
like
those
the
who are
head.
just listening, Coruja got a buzz cut. So it's
Oh
pretty
yeah,
much
we
so
have people only listening.
yeah, there are
Yeah.
people who listen now because we're this is our first episode that is being streamed to everywhere that you. So if you're on Google Play, Amazon, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, where you're probably listening to this. But if you're only listening to this, please remember that you can see the episodes and see our ugly faces on YouTube. And next week we have a very special guest. We're gonna have Matt Smith from Strike Anywhere. He is a surfer. So we're gonna be talking about surfing, about his relationship with surfing. We're gonna talk about music. Should be a lot of fun. We're really excited. I'm a huge Strike Anywhere fan. It's the only tattoo I have of any band in my arm. It was my first tattoo, so it's even fading. That's how old it is. You can kind of see it from here. But yeah, should be a fun one.
It will be for sure.
Awesome, man. All right, let's talk about. Well, first, let's do a recap. Well, we have good topics today. Before we have a very eventful day where Joel Tudor got suspended. Maybe before we go to Portugal, we should talk about that.
Yeah, let's do it first.
All right, man. I thought it was pretty hilarious. I mean, I love Joel. I'm Joel. I'm Team Joel always, because like if we lose that kind of spontaneity. Oh my God, spontaneity. Okay, you guys know what I meant. This is ESL, so please forgive me. Spontaneity. Jesus Christ, I don't remember how to say.
I don't.
If we lose that, it's less fun, and he, he can back it up. He's like such an insane surfer in any board. Put him on a fish, put him on a quad, put him on a mid length, put him on a longboard, and he has the personality and he has the rock and roll attitude. And like, man, this is 2022 and this is so rare. So first of all, I just want to see, what do you think of the suspension and how do you feel about it?
Actually, we talked about what happened, like between Joe and WSL and Jasmine Dyer, and he was pretty vocal as usual about the longboard tour and everything and finals. And we discussed that. We discussed about that here, and I just didn't read everything that he wrote or the ups and downs of the conversation or the argument or anything. But actually, I know he's vocal and he knows that
he is
the
vocal.
World Surf League, they don't like that, and they always like, they have this rule. I would say that you cannot talk bad things about your employer,
right? It
because
seems like
after all, they're
his
surfer's employer.
Yeah, in a way.
And I can see their side. I can see their reasons for not liking that. But we are used to see people on the sports talking bad things about their leagues, because they're not their employers,
right?
And it happened before. Like, if you go like 11 years back, you remember Bobby Martinez? Man,
vaguely.
Man, just I just go to YouTube after we finish here and just search for Bobby Martinez 2011.
Was it controversy about the scoring? Was it something about the scoring on
no, not really. He was pissed about the mid-year cut that we are having this year again.
Yeah.
And he did very, very good in prior years, like he won events at Chopes and
Yeah, I remember
Osaka.
him.
And he was one of the best surfers in the
He's
world at that time.
yeah, in California, he's very because if I remember correctly, he's from the Santa Barbara era, and
Yeah.
all the Channel Islands guys, and like he's a very kind of like a probably the biggest name, like besides some currently that is from there, that was like on the tour from the men's side. Of course, you got Dane too, but like Dane like was in and out of the tour. But yeah, so of course, yeah, he's a legend.
Yeah, so like he got suspended badly at that time. The tour was called ATP, not WSL, and they
Right.
didn't have these rules very clear. And now they have these rules very clear. So Joe Tudor knew where he was stepping. He knew that he could get suspended or get a fee or something like that. But what you said, it's nice to have folks like that, these characters, these guys that they talk, they say, and they just express what they think. They don't
And also in
like stay over
yeah,
the wall, as we say in Portuguese, like em cima do muro. They
yeah,
just have an opinion and they express them. So liking or not liking his opinion about what happened, uh, he is very authentic. That's true.
yeah, and I just want to give a quick recap for those who are not aware of what's going on. So basically, Joel Tudor, current longboard world champion, criticizes WSL for equal pay in longboard events for men and women, right? And then Jessie, what's her name again? Jessie
Mighty Dyer.
Maya Dyer, which is I think the chairman of the WSL, like a
She's the tour. Yeah, she's the
tour manager, right?
no, the tour manager is the Renato Rico, but she's like the surfers representative. And
Yeah,
yeah, she
she's
makes
the
the
one.
calls and everything.
Yeah, I was gonna say she's the one that makes the calls for go or no go on the events. So yeah, she pretty much texts Joel saying that to take it down, and he published her text. And she's a member of WSL. She's an employee of WSL. So it was like it kind of looked bad for the WSL. So that was like maybe two months ago, a month ago. And then Joel, today it was announced that Joel was suspended from, I don't remember exactly how long, but he was suspended, and they were very specific to say about the things that he said, that it was against their athletes rule book.
And also he accused the tour to be corrupt, which is a serious accusation. It's a serious statement to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the thing about him too, that it's cool if you were to think about, he's very close friends with Devin Howard. I mean, they always post surfing videos together. They do events together, and Devin Howard is the commissioner of longboarding for WSL, or at least he used to be. I'm not sure if he still is.
That's what Jessie Miley Dyer is. She's the commissioner. That's the correct.
Oh, okay, all right. So basically, he's angry that she's now the commissioner for longboarding too. So that's part of the problem.
I don't think so. I think he just complained about what you said, like equal payment, like TV or same place for the finals and things like that. She's the commissioner for the men and women tour on the CT.
Right.
I don't know why he I think he didn't choose her to complain. I think
no, it's because she
asked
texted him. Yeah.
That's it.
She was a spokesperson. But anyway, he's suspended. That's why we're talking about him. And he is known to be like a very outspoken person. But I always find that when Joel comes as outspoken, he's always coming from a funny side that is not always translated. And it may sound aggressive if you read it in the headline versus him talking. You know what I mean? Because on his videos, you can see he's a very like tongue-in-cheek, like very sharp sense of humor kind of guy. And that could easily come off. Obviously, in that criticism, he was being serious, But I think a lot of the things get lost in the tone of texting versus like if it was a video of him saying. So yeah, like I said, I'm against this suspension just because I love Joel, and if he's not on the longboarding world tour, it's gonna be a lot more boring. But also because like I think the WSL is trying to become more like NFL, NBA, very politically correct, very like a corporate entity that's caring a lot about its sponsors and its image, and it's coming from a culture of surfing that is a rebellious culture, right? So it's like there's
Yeah,
that contrast. There's that contrast, and Joe is bringing the Dogtown spirit and like all that SoCal, you know, attitude,
yeah,
and the WSL is bringing the suits.
that's it. Yeah, yeah. I think like it's hard, man, because WSL they want to like not only be a serious company and make things politically correct, but they want to look like a serious company for sponsors. And
Right. That's why they're
everyone
doing
knows
reality
that,
shows.
yeah, and everyone knows that they are still like looking for more sponsors, bigger
Right.
contracts, because they're cutting the surfers on CT to make shorter events so they can pay less, less people, but pay more for those guys.
Well, they
And
say
also
part
they're
part
gonna
of what
not
they
spend that amount of money on running the events because they
right.
need only 3 days after the cut. So
Exactly. Well, and
um,
part of it, Kruja, I wanted to hear your opinion on this. One of the justifications I remember them saying it is because the events may be too long sometimes and run for too long. Because let me tell you one thing that I give them a partial good reason for that. Because if you take the first round, the qualifying round, and the elimination round, uh, it's not super exciting. I kind of started like I watched the May heats, but I'm very like turned off. So I think their justification was like they're worried about the broadcast, and for broadcasting, it generates more clicks and views when it's like one day. That's why they have the finals day, obviously. But
yeah,
but yeah, so like I think that's partially the reason. But you think it's more than that, right?
yeah, everything. It's a
It's the
bit of
context.
everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I like to watch every heat, even the like first round heats. I like those 3-man heat or 3-woman heat. But yeah, as you said, you know that only 4 guys are going to get kicked out and 2 girls are going to lose on the women's side
Yeah.
on the second round. So they're there like these 2 first rounds are more as warm up rounds for the surfers, so they can like get used to their boards, even if they are training for days prior to the event start, but still they can try their boards during the heat and everything.
Yeah.
It's kind of stressful, of course, if you have to surf the round two. And actually, the if like a good results, it's only if you get past the round three. Even if you lose on round three, it's a bad result. So after round three, things of course get more
Yeah.
exciting,
After a
and I
round of
have to agree
16.
with you
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
the round of 16. It's the best round to start
Yeah.
watching because then things
Mhm.
get more. You have more action,
More
and
consequence.
sometimes they run
Yeah.
those dual heats, the overlapping heats, which are nice to watch if you have lots of waves. I like them to watch because there's action all the time. Yeah, like we just touched another another thing here, but going back to Joe Tudor, I feel sorry for him and for WSL, but more for the surf fans, because he is a legend. He surfs like he's second to none, man.
One of the best styles ever. And the
No,
thing
yeah,
is to yeah, and the thing is like he's entertaining on the water and off the water. So like and to be fair, like I think the WSL is completely overreacting on this. And the main reason why, like, this is not the worst thing that happens to WSL because it brings controversy and brings interest. It like in a way it could generate more views, not in the way they wanted to, but it just puts their name more out there. It creates more. This is a very hot topic these days, like equality, equal pay for men and women. So I think it's good press, bad press. It goes back to that, like what's better. Important is to have
Yeah,
your name out there. So
I think they really want to make a point there. They
yeah,
really want to show they're serious,
make
and
an
they're not
example.
gonna allow.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're not gonna allow uh, things like that. I have there's a pro surfer that I know here. I don't like to call them friends because I really don't get along with them. And as a judge, I don't have friends that surf professionally, But I know these guys, and one of them he keeps posting waves that are things like waves in the past or waves in like nowadays that he does not agree with the score.
Right.
And until last year, he was very vocal and he was like, "Oh, huh, really? Are you kidding me?" And this guy was part of the CT tour for 2 years. And
Okay.
one day he said to him, like, I just saw that on Instagram and we had an argument, not like a serious one, but I told him, like, man, I think you should stop doing that. If you don't agree, just keep it to you or keep it like maybe to your coach or
It doesn't help him in any way.
yeah, it doesn't help you any like in any matter because
And Karuja, I know you always talk about like, surfing being fair and judges being impartial, but I think it may create a subconscious bias. Like if you're always talking shit about the surfers, who knows? Like maybe like
yeah,
there's a guy that's having a bad day. He's like, you know what? Fuck this asshole. Keeps talking shit about us,
yeah.
and takes half a point from his score or whatever.
Yeah, it's something that we don't
It's
we
human
don't take
nature.
this
Yeah,
yeah, we don't take this like consciously
exactly.
to the judging booth, but it can happen, man. And I told him like this is not gonna help you in any cause because
No.
like you're criticizing the people that are gonna judge you one day, and they work for the same companies, they just have different position there.
Different roles, yeah.
And yeah, and then another thing is that the public, it's like we maybe people don't like that very much. The Brazilians will love because yeah, he always does that when Brazilians are low scored, in his opinion. So like the Brazilian people just, oh yeah, they
It
you
just
know
adds
they
fuel to the fire. Yeah.
yeah, like yeah, you're right, man, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
And now I see that he does that, he keeps doing that, but in a different way. He doesn't write anything, he just put like his an emoji like this,
Like I'm robbed or something like that. Yeah. 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 Yeah.
thinking, and I know what's going on. And he keeps doing that. He keeps uh, like
Instigating.
like yeah, man. I told him one thing. I said, man, why don't you just uh, study what the judges are scoring for when you get back there? You know what they're scoring, and then you go and do that.
Yeah.
Even if you don't
Study the
like or you don't
criteria.
agree, yeah, you
Yeah.
don't agree. You have all the rights to not agree. I don't agree with some scores. But what I do is try to understand why that wave was scored that way. Until last year, I was like vocal like him. But then
Right.
I stopped and I started to ask people that could explain me why the wave was scored like that. Because I'm a judge, but I'm not
And
there. Those,
and
those guys
Karuja,
are the best in the world. So they can explain me why that,
why that wave was
like,
scored that way?
yeah, we're going to talk about Griffin's 10 later, but
Yeah.
I had an
But
opinion at the very beginning when I saw the wave. Now I have a different opinion. I still don't agree with the 10. I'm not
right.
gonna give a 10 that for that air yet, but I can see the 10 there, even though
For
I don't
sure.
give the 10.
Exactly. And like a 9.5 and a 10 is not a huge difference. It's a detail. But
Yeah, you can go to the cut. If you're a judge that don't like the 10 on that wave, just
yeah.
your score is gonna get dropped. You're the low
And,
scoring.
and Karuja, and just to finish the subject of judges for now, it's that also like this is every sport that has judging. Like for example, there's a big controversy on the Olympics this year on snowboarding finals. Like I forgot the name of the Japanese snowboarder who won, but he actually had a second run that he was in second place, and everybody's saying that that run was perfect and it should have been a 98, and it was like a 92 or something close to that. And then, but luckily his third one was even better. So he got an even better score, and that was like unanimous. So then he actually got the gold. But all I'm trying to illustrate is that like that is just normal. What happens on skateboarding, happens on snowboarding, happens on gymnastics, figure skating. You know what I mean? If it's 5 judges on a panel, there's going to be controversy because we're humans and we think differently, we see things differently, and we just got to accept it.
Yeah. You have to go with the team.
Yeah, for sure. Anyway, well, let's talk about Portugal. I love the event. I was kind of let down that finals day was really small, especially knowing for what that wave could bring. But all the other days besides the final days, the waves were so much fun to watch.
Yeah, I agree, man. It was the best Portugal in 10 or 12 years. I don't know. Since 2011, I think that was the best.
Yeah, and obviously the finals day was a Monday, but I remember the previous days was it was on the weekend. It was a Saturday and a Sunday, and the beach was crowded, and you can hear the roar, you can hear the excitement. So yeah, man, they have such a similar spirit to Brazil. It's just nice to hear that roar from the sand when like for example when Griffin scored the 10, like
Wow.
we're even saying that could have partially influenced the score because everybody just got so excited. Last heat of the day, 40 seconds on the clock. The sun was beautiful.
Yeah.
Everybody scored like 30 heats that day. So heaven knows, like how like it's like a combination of things. Like sometimes we forget that context is important, and the energy of the place and all that stuff.
Yeah, and everything that we see on TV is different than being there.
Absolutely.
Even judging, man, we have a different perspective of the wave and of the section of the wave and how powerful it is, and we tend to think things are easier than they look.
Than they seem, yeah. Coruja, I was
Yeah.
going to ask you this. I think it was Sério Fundo, which is a Brazilian podcast that was mentioning this. And they were saying that the judges do have video, but it's not the same video as the broadcast, and they cannot see it in slow motion. They can only see it in real time. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's a thing that we discussed with other judges a couple years ago. That it's the same with the VAR in soccer or football.
Yeah.
Like they everything that you look on slow motion, if it's a foul in football, for example,
yeah, it will seem like a foul.
And the referee, he's in doubt if it's a yellow or a red card. He's gonna give a red card if it's in slow motion,
right?
Because everything looks like, wow, guy tried to kill the other guy. But on surfing, yeah, the same thing happens. We have the slow motion on TV, but the judges they don't have, and we always watch the front angle camera as a replay to judge the wave, if it's possible, because sometimes there's not a really front angle camera because there's a current surfing
right
far from the booth, but still we try to watch the replay on one camera that's the front one, and even in barrels, and then it's a different thing. It's good to watch the front camera and the sideways camera, the one that's pointing inside the barrel, because you can see how deep the surfer got.
Yeah.
And you can see the foam ball and everything. So that helps a lot. I think we saw that happen with Kelly or Mason Hall a couple years ago, where they just got dropped from their boards, they fell, but they fell with the belly on the board. So then they stood up and got out of the barrel. I think it was Mason Hall. Judges couldn't see that on the front angle camera.
Yeah.
And he got a very, very high score. But he fell inside the barrel.
I think it's part of the
So
problem,
yeah,
man. I think it's part of the problem because, like you said, like if the broadcasting is showing something in slow motion, and the judges are not, obviously they're gonna get
yeah,
shit. Everybody's gonna
yeah,
hate on them because you're seeing something that to you is very obvious. You're seeing in detail, you're seeing from multiple angles because sometimes you're able to shoot it with the drone. So you can see exactly how deep the barrel is. And like maybe, yeah, for sure, if the judges saw what you saw, they probably would have scored differently.
yeah.
So it's
I agree.
like I think WSL just had to either make the same for everybody or give the judges the same tools, because otherwise you're just putting the judges on a bad place. You're giving them less resources, right? You're giving them less resources.
Yeah, but
Or
enough resources, because the slow motions, it's no good
so
for.
you think you're against the slow motion, man?
I am against slow motion for sure.
Oh, see,
I
I think it
cannot
would be
watch.
good. I
No,
respectfully
no,
disagree.
because no, because yeah, but when you watch it on slow motion, you see like more details and everything, but you tend to like it more than it really was.
For sure, but my point is not even that. My point is that like if you're showing the public one kind of like quote marks evidence, and the judges don't have access to the same evidence, it's almost like not fair to the judges, like because you're putting them on a situation that they can be criticized for something that they're not aware of.
Yeah, but you know what? They don't give a damn for that
You think,
criticizing, man.
yeah, they
No,
don't care.
no, they don't care. If you like, if you know a judge, I know most of them. They're very low profile people. They work like inside their booth there, and
Mhm.
they're not hanging out on nightclubs or anything during the event. They're not hanging out with surfers. Of course, they know and respect the surfers and call
Yeah,
it by their
it's
names.
impossible
If
not
they,
to.
yeah.
Yeah, it's possible not to. It's a small
But
tour. Yeah,
yeah, but of course man, this job is hard, man. If
oh,
you
super,
think like
super.
at the end of the day, you are so exhausted mentally. I like after years judging, I learned some things about my body and my head and my capability of getting
Focusing.
or
Yeah,
remain focused and
yeah.
concentrated. I don't eat sugar anymore during the events because
Interesting.
I always start to work very well in the mornings. I'm a morning person, so I like to wake up early, and I do a very good job in the morning. And then after lunch, I tend to get a little more uh,
Sleepy.
sleepy and not very concentrated, and start to my mind starts to getting
Wonder.
vague,
Yeah.
like yeah, wondering like I don't miss waves because there's a guy calling waves behind us who's called spotter. So he says, pedal right, pedal yellow,
Yeah. Yellow
pedal blue,
shirt. Yeah. Yeah.
yellow wave. So then you watch everything. But if it's just by myself, I could even miss a wave because I'm like wandering and
No,
just
and
you
it's like
know.
you said,
And
you're
if I eat
asking.
sugar, man, it's the worst thing.
You
Sometimes they
gotta.
come with like the organizers come with cakes and acai and like these sugary goods that people make
You
and come
crash.
to sell on the beach, and then they give us uh, for us to try, and then we call on the microphone like, hey, if you guys, everyone is on the beach, if you want to like to try these sugary goods, just come here, just beside the judge's tower and everything. And man, if I eat sugar, man, just forget it. I'm not gonna be a good judge. So,
That makes total
and
sense. It makes perfect
yeah,
sense because it's
it's
like
it's
it's
crazy.
normal. I every day after lunch, I do get a little like it's hard to get. I need coffee. I need like a minute. Like it makes perfect sense. And if you're and like who is the person that can stay completely focused like 10, 12 hours a day? Because if you're judging, if you get there at sunrise, at like I don't know, 7, 8 a.m. and you're judging all day, that's insane. That's like
Yeah, it's
almost 10,
insane,
12
man.
hours. Yeah. So it's
It
like,
is, but we do work that amount of time on these full days, like they did
yeah.
in Portugal, Saturday and Sunday. It was a
Exactly.
full day, man. They ran
And like, all right,
20 something heats.
since we're in this topic, let's talk about Griffin now, because I think it's just more relevant. Because that just goes like what we are saying about people being tired. And like, I just think at a lot of the situational elements that were going outside the judge cabin influenced the 10, right? Because like, if like, all right, so that day was the day before finals day. So they probably have 32 heats. No, 32?
I think, yeah, maybe
Uh,
they ran some overlapping heats that day, I think.
oh, right. But it's still
I don't
like
know, but there was a
over
lot. It was a
20.
full day, man. It
Yeah,
was a
over
full
20
day.
heats, right? More than 20 heats for sure, right?
Yeah,
And some of those heats had 4 surfers in the water, right?
yeah,
So that was the last heat of the day. That was 40 seconds in. The crowd was roaring. They were probably exhausted, you know? They were probably like, because think about it. If you're tired and you see something really impressive that pops your eye, and you're just like, whoa, I just saw something incredible. That was a 10 because I was almost dead. And now I'm like wired just by looking at this. So we are humans, there's a lot of psychology that would explain a lot of our actions. Maybe if that wave happened at 10 a.m., maybe it would have been a 9.5, because we saw the wave, you and me, like it was, everybody's talking about it. All the surf podcasts are talking about it. Stab was talking about it. Like everyone is mentioning it. But maybe if that came out at 10 a.m., it would have been a different score. Yeah, it was incredible wave. It was a beautiful shot. It was just incredible. But like, in my opinion, it's an arguable 10. Could have been a 10, could have not been a 10. I probably would have given a 9.5 just based off the other ways of previous events. Like we talk
yeah,
about Kelly's Barrow didn't get a 10. João Fumbo didn't get a 10 in Pipeline. So yeah, that's kind of like, I think it matters, right? What do you think?
yeah. It does matter a lot, man. That's totally true. Yeah, if it was the first heat of the day, it was going to be a 9 because judges, they don't know what's going to happen after that.
Do
So
you
we
have the
need
wave?
to have space to work
Do you
upwards,
have do you have the video of the wave there so we can show people which
I
wave we're
think
talking
so.
about? Yeah, because
Uh,
if you do, please share your screen. And guys, if you are on listening us to on a podcast, just audio, we're talking about Griffin Colapinto's heat against, who was it against again? Was it?
Go ahead.
It was against Kalohe and Dino, where he got the air, his last heat of the day from the Portugal event. So should be
Actually, there
pretty.
were there were like 3 minutes to go, and he took the wave, he did the air, and then he just paddled in. And
Yeah.
then he realized that he still had 3 minutes on the clock.
Oh, really? I thought it was like towards the
Yeah.
end.
So then, like in respect for Kolohe, who's his mentor and everything, and
He just
like
went back.
his, yeah, he just paddled back there, and like then there was
Yeah.
like a minute to go, but I
Interesting.
have it
Okay.
here. Yeah.
Yeah.
And
All
I
right.
don't
Please.
like this drone shot, man. But I know why they did this because the glare, the sun.
Yeah, it's
Uh,
beautiful. It doesn't
you
have to be
need you
perfect.
need
I just want people to watch it so they know at least what we're talking about.
no, yeah, but I mean they do this drone camera at the end of the day there because the sun is just behind the waves and there's
So,
this
so
glare
much
that you
glare.
cannot
Yeah.
see. Yeah.
Yeah.
So if they use the drone, it's better to
It's better.
see things.
All right.
Yeah.
Please share your
I'm
screen.
gonna show you guys here this wave. Just let me know if it's on.
It's on. I can see it.
So yeah, he took off and then did some pumps and then the air. And it's a full rotation, of course. Beautiful. So we're gonna see the replays. They're pretty fast on this editing thing. You see he's happy and throwing his board and
The crowd is going
people are,
insane.
yeah, crowd is insane. Now he just hears the score and it was so fast.
Yeah. Here we see it again.
And now we have a better angle. So yeah,
And
we like this is an amazing air, the best air of
beautiful.
the season so far.
Yeah.
It could be a 10, but I don't see that as a 10 the same way as you don't, because we saw the waves that we thought were 10s and they didn't give 10s, and they are very strict to give 10s nowadays. So I see some down points here that I can point to you guys why this could not be a 10 in my opinion, and why this could be a 10. And if I was sitting there and my 9.5 got cut because I'm the lowest scoring judge, I would accept it, no problem. But because you see this section where he's hitting, it's so hard. It's a heavy section, so heavy section, thick lead.
And it's closing on him. Yeah,
it's closing on him. It's kind of late there. So it just kicks the board into the air and starts to spin.
Yep.
And then if you see the spin, like he's high, but not that high if we compare to Italo's and Felipe's.
Yeah, maybe just a couple feet off
yeah, and then if you see the tail of his board, it's just a little bit higher than the nose. You know, it's almost horizontal.
There's a slight angle, but it's not nothing crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, and then he does the full rotation. You see his body, his arms are still coming to the right position, and he's looking where he's gonna land, and he lands on the flats. You cannot see him right now because
it's almost like he's landed either on the foam or even a little. Like it's hard to tell. It's like
but he landed on the flats, man, just in front of the foam. We can see that here.
Oh yeah,
it's on the foam, but
a little bit
flat part.
It's towards the end of the foam.
So this is what makes a high scoring wave. You know, this lining was bizarre, but as I said, I don't see the 10 because of some things that we'd like to see on the airs, like the tail spinning higher than the nose, and flying higher, and even flying sideways. He flew towards the beach more than sideways, but the rotation was so fast, and the place where he did the turn and where he landed, these are things that the judges there, they saw it live and said, no, this is a 10. So this 10 came like 15 or 20 seconds after the wave ended. So this was probably
an emotional 10,
a perfect 10. So no judge had any doubts. The head judge was 10 for him. So there was no need to watch replays or to discuss anything by the head judge. He just saw his guys giving the 10.
Yeah, which it goes more to my point. Yeah, which it goes more to my point that it was an emotional 10. Because it was like, it's like if you take 10, because usually like we've seen them in the finals, they take more than 2 minutes. Yeah, very good.
You see how thick this lip is? And he's just doing the turn.
It's incredible. It's incredible.
Kind of late and on a very heavy part.
Very fast part too. Very heavy and fast. It was a beautiful shot, and you know the amount of talent that it takes to land something like that. It's something that I cannot comprehend. But just to finish the point I was making, if like on Stephanie's Gilmore semifinals heat against man, what's her name? The runner-up of the event, Lakey. Yeah, against Lakey. Like I think it was 5 minutes remaining, and she was waiting for a score for almost 2.5 minutes. So that you can see that they were analyzing, they were thinking about it. It was the opposite from emotional, right? But if you take 10 seconds and everybody barely sees the replay, you don't see a replay in 10 seconds. Everybody gives a 10, end of the day. Yeah, I think we both agree that it was just the lack of criteria, right? Italo had a very similar air on the earlier rounds you were mentioning. He always throw airs like that, and people don't always give him 10. So it was the whole context of the situation is what kind of gave the 10.
Yeah, that's it. And when we give like scores that fast, it happened to me twice where I was working and we gave 10s. It happened like in 10 seconds. I remember with Hugo Litantas on an amateur event in Brazil in 2006. Like even before he had finished the wave, I had the 10 in my mind. And it was my first ever event working as a trainee, actually, like stagiaire, as we call it. Just had the opportunity to judge 2 heats, semifinals, and I was like shaking because I was not expecting to give a 10 on my first experience judging.
Did anyone else give the 10 with you, or was it?
Everybody,
Oh, okay.
everybody.
That's
I
better.
thought to myself,
Yeah.
I was watching the event the whole weekend, and with the judges, so I was ghost judging, so I was
Right,
judging
right,
on a separate paper just behind the judges,
right.
not looking what they're doing, of course, but just
For
giving my
sure.
scores and getting used and learning. And there were names like Alejo Muniz, Miguel Pupo, uh, Adriano de Souza,
CT
like
athletes. Yeah.
city guys, man,
Yeah.
on the
Yeah.
amateurs. So, and the waves were perfect in my teams. The right-handers
Yeah.
were running for like 100 meters or more.
And you know
Um,
that wave super well too.
yeah,
So
and they're
that
like
helps.
2 to 3 foot, small but
Yeah.
perfect, like so
Yeah.
fun. And I saw the wave, and I thought to myself, okay, if I get emotional here, like give a 10 and all the judges come with an 8. But then I thought, man, I watched this whole event. I saw nines, 9.5s, and nothing was comparable to that.
Right.
So I gave the 10. I thought to myself, if this is not a 10, I don't know what is a 10, and I'm quitting on my
I
first.
shouldn't be judging.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I gave the 10 on the paper, and
Yeah.
then I put it in the system, and then I didn't press enter because I was waiting for the head judge. And he
Yeah.
just slapped my back and said, press enter. Just what you're waiting for, That's it. And I pressed
That's
enter.
nice. It's nice that he did that. Yeah.
Yeah, and then I remember like Wiggly finished the wave, and then he just laid on his belly to
Yeah. Yeah.
come out of the water, and then
Yeah.
take the run, all the run, go over the rocks, and then jump in again.
Yeah.
And honestly, we gave the score for him before he even got on his feet on the beach.
Holy shit.
It was like 10 seconds. It was
Yeah.
so fast.
When you know, you know.
The same
Right.
way they did with Kalohe, so with Griffin.
Yeah.
So that's why I see the 10 there, but at the same time I would not give it 10.
Yeah.
But
It was.
if I was at the judge tower at that time, maybe I was gonna have a different perspective and a different opinion.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like, I think what's lost a lot is the context of the situation, right? Like,
That's true.
there's a lot there that like makes like we forget like the psychological aspect. Maybe for Griffin at that time, and like all I'm talking about is very subjective, and this is us imagining scenarios, right? Obviously, we're not in anyone's head, but it's one of those things like maybe they figure out that in that situation that was a super hard score to get, and everything, the psychological elements around him made it that more difficult than it seems on TV, and maybe that's something that we're missing.
That's it.
All right,
and
man.
Then one other wave that we need to talk about is that Cali wave, right?
Right.
The barrel.
Right. Okay. Do you have it ready?
Yeah, I do. Mm-hmm.
All right. Please show it to us because I need a refresher on that one as well. So this was Kelly's later. This was like round of 16 and round of 16.
Round
right?
of 32, actually.
Round of 32, and he's surfing against Coyote Belly.
Yeah. So they had they were still on the second priority wave heat, and then I saw Griffin paddle for this wave. He couldn't catch the wave, so Kelly was just under him and just took off straight into the barrel. And by like they had a really good scoring heat. If you see there, like 12.67 for Kayo, and still 20 minutes to go. So and Kelly needed an 8 something to turn the heat. So, or an 8, no, not really.
He needed a high score.
Yeah, something. Yeah, he needed maybe a 7, but still, he took off straight in the barrel, like big barrel.
Deep,
very deep, and then come out.
Right.
Come out, he's out of the barrel, right?
Chandelier, yeah. Chandelier
yeah,
exit.
Now the wave just destroyed him.
Right.
But let's put this on the regular speed. Comes out, boom.
Yeah.
So
I don't know if that's a complete for me, man.
Yeah, so how many seconds he was in front of the white water, riding the board with control after he came out of the barrel? Like
Pretty much
maybe 1
zero.
second,
Yeah,
maybe
maybe
one
not
second.
even. Yeah.
And that's something that I really, when I saw it for the first time on my cell phone, I was like, no, no way they gave him this as complete. You know,
That's
they could
incomplete
not.
because we all remember Italo's air on Narrabeen. Was it Narrabeen?
That's it. Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's it. Yeah,
Yeah.
perfect.
Na-
Yeah.
Yeah, Narrabeen. He was standing, I think, for 3 seconds. He was bouncing, but he was standing.
Yeah, he
The,
stood on the board more longer than Kelly in front of the white water with control,
right.
but then the phone just
It's
caught
almost
him
like,
and just
correct me if I'm wrong, it's almost like the foam hit a whitewash, and that's kind of like a backwash. Sorry, not a whitewash. So it was like the foam hit a backwash, and that's when he got knocked out. It was something
yeah,
weird like that. Yeah.
he got knocked out after he completed the air. But I still as I learned, I still deem that as incomplete,
Right.
same as Kelly's barrel.
Right, because
But
the lip knocked him out at the foam. That's incomplete.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's
But
incomplete.
what I think is that uh, maybe after that Italo's discussion last year, maybe they now have a different perspective on what's complete or incomplete.
Right.
And I like that if they change their minds. And I've heard that in these cases, and it's how it works for us here as well, but in these cases, they can go with the majority of the judges. So if 3 judges say it's complete and 2 say it's incomplete, it's a complete wave, and then you have to change your score if you gave
Oh, I see.
incomplete,
They have to go back.
So if you
What
gave like
was
a 2-point right for
what
that
was
as
what was
incomplete,
Coruja,
and
what was Kelly's score on that wave?
8.17.
Yeah, no fucking way. Sorry.
No,
I mean, if it was a complete, it should have been a 10, right?
no. Because it was a
No?
dirty. No, the exit was dirty. Was all
Through,
white
but he
water.
was deep though.
Yeah, he was deep. The takeoff was really hard inside the barrel. So, but I like the score. I would give it like an 8.5 or something like that,
Yeah.
because still it was deep, but it was not clean exit and was very long, and we had better barrels, and we have to keep the score controlled, because if something
Yeah, you gotta
magnificent
give room
happens
for a
after
10.
that, you
Yeah.
have to have room. So
Yeah.
imagine getting a barrel like that and doing
No, you're right. You're
big
right.
a big closeout turn, and that's like the score for me is correct. And if they deem that as a
So
complete wave,
I have a question.
surf wave, so that's okay.
I have a question for you. Let's say he gets on that barrel, right? And let's say he completes it, but not through the doggy door. Let's say he comes out through the front of the barrel. Would that maybe be a 10?
No, he did come out in front of the barrel. He did, but the wave is all foamy there. It's kind of pinching, so he has to punch through, the white
Right.
water. But he does come like sideways, like on the wall of the wave, and then he
Right.
tries to doggy door the closeout section,
Right.
and then it
Right.
doesn't happen. So there are two separate things there, like the
Well,
barrel
because that
itself, and then
okay,
the
but
closeout
then
section.
my question is, if the closeout didn't hit, right? As he was getting
was not gonna make any difference.
oh, okay, but like what's confusing to me is that like because it's almost like the wave. I guess what I'm trying to understand is like, okay, we got a closeout section there. So wasn't he then just like halfway through the wave? There was more to come. Oh, we got an illustrious
Zacarias,
presence. Zacarias is what's up, Zaka?
he's been here like asking for something. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
his looking good, Zaka. I like your wetsuit.
Yeah, he's a legend. These guys are legend. He's
Instagram
gonna turn.
famous. Yeah, guys, if
Yeah,
you're curious what Zakaria is, Coruja is gonna post a photo of Zacarias on our browser's account today.
oh yeah. He's gonna turn 10 next month.
Okay, then we gotta, yeah, you gotta post about him. You gotta make a
I'll
10
do
of
it.
photo.
I
Like, this is my
always do. It's my son.
kind
But yeah, going back to that, yeah, man, I like, as you said, like if it was a clean section without the closeout uh, part of the wave,
right,
he was gonna get a better score. If it was a clean exit and then
right.
just like turn the board to the outside and pedal back, it was gonna be a 9 or something.
Yeah.
But
It's,
what happens when the barrel is not doesn't have a very clean exit? That's not a perfect way for sure.
yeah, and especially
Mostly,
considering that, especially some of the lefts there had way cleaner exits for barrels, right?
yeah.
Maybe the rights were a little more closing, but I've seen some beautiful barrels going left.
Even Griffin on on the previous heat, but they were at the same time had cleaner barrels, not as difficult as Kelly's, but he had cleaner exits, so they were there. So yeah, I think the score was good.
Cool. Yeah. Well, man, we talk a lot about judging. Maybe we should go a little more about the highlights of the event
Yes, please.
before we close out. Before we close out. Pun not intended. But okay, so let's go women's first. Some of the positives for me. I mean, it was great to see it was great to see like the vets back in the top four.
Yeah,
I always say that I'm a huge fan of Miss Gilmore. She is like, to me, one of the best styles, men and women in the tour. And I was her heat against Leahy was really good. It was cool that she got a good result. She needed a good result, even for requalifying, because we're having that conversation now. And
yeah,
obviously Tachi, Tachi, incredible to defeat Carissa. Like, even we were talking before the episode that we know my heart saying Tachi was gonna win, but my head was like maybe not. But yeah, she pulled it out, and it was unarguable. She well deserved. What did you think about the women's?
yeah. I really like to see the more experienced girls or women step up and just give the rookies a hard time, as the rookies did to them in Sunset. So if you see the ratings now,
Right.
like Carissa, Lakey, and Tatiana, which are second, third, and fourth respectively, they got knocked out on round 3 at Sunset by rookies. And
Some of them wild
they,
cards, right?
yeah, and the wild cards. So at
Yeah.
this event, Tati was first, Lakey was third or second, and Carissa was third. And then the girls that made the final there at Sunset, they got knocked out on the third round, Brisa and Malia.
Yeah.
So the ratings now, they
Are weird.
just, yeah,
Yeah.
they're
It's just
very
weird.
close,
The men's are
And
weird too. Yeah.
yeah, same. And I really like the way Tachi surfed on the closeout sections of her left. She kicked the tail out of the wave. She showed the fins out. She took risks since the beginning of the event. And for me, she's one of the best for sure on beach break conditions. I saw her doing very good in France in 2015, where I was there. He got a 10 and everything. She got a 10 and everything. So she always does well on this kind of conditions, and she deserved the win. And I think she still can work on her style on the forehand hacks. Her arms, they're not like quite correct. She needs to open more the chest and bring this arm this
Right.
way, and she still bounces when she's doing the first turn, but then the second or the third turn on the closeout section, she does it perfectly, and she got the score she needed on the final doing that. Big turn on the closeout section, and yeah, like it's nice to watch them mixing turns and barrels, man, because pipe was barrel, Sunset was turn, and
Stearns.
now we had both. And then to readapt to a beach break with lots of currents and everything, you
Lots
need
of
to,
wind. Wind was howling for a
yeah,
good part of the
a
event.
lot of wind. you need experience, and that it just showed that more experienced surfers, they had an advantage at this side.
Yeah, and you make a good point, and it's like almost like when the conditions are good, is it's almost like easier to surf well, right? When the conditions are challenging, that's when the real tough guys and girls show up, right? Like that's when you show how good you are because you can surf anything and you can rip.
That's it,
So
yeah.
yeah, nice, man. Yeah, I mean, obviously Carissa had a great event too. Like semifinals again, like so consistent. She's still probably like, if I have to put money, I still think she's going to take it all. Obviously, it's very early in the year, but it's just like incredible how consistent she can be. Like even if you look for last year, like how many events she's been finishing at least semifinal, it's incredible. So
Yeah, it is.
yeah, and I just hope Steph qualifies. That's all.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, if she makes the cut, even better.
And did you feel like, did you miss Moana Jones at this event?
Yeah, well, that's a good topic, man. I almost forgot to talk about that.
What happened?
Yeah, she didn't get the wild card. It was like
No.
a bit. I'm serious.
She didn't get, man. I didn't understand that.
Right, she didn't get it, and like, what's weird is that in the men's they gave the wild cards, right? They gave so Caio Ibelli was pretty high on the ranks. I'm gonna be surprised if he gets a wild card for Australia because he didn't do very well.
But he's a wild card that deserves the wild card because he's replacing Gabriel Medina. And Barron Mamiya, because of the ratings from last year, he has the right to get the wild card if Medina.
Oh, because he was the first one before the cut.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, but Barron Mamiya, I don't think he's gonna get the wild cards for Australia because, even he was, or he's still on the top 5. He just got the wild card pipeline because
he's local.
He's local, and he had the right to.
And he rips. Like, I mean, obviously he rips. Like, we don't want to say like,
of course,
you only got.
He belongs to the tour. Like,
absolutely.
If you just watch his.
He has surfing. He has surfing to be top CT surfer.
I don't think they should give him more wild cards because actually he's already qualified for the rest of the tour, I think.
Right.
I don't think he's gonna get dropped below 22nd.
No, he probably made the cut for sure. I mean, it would take a tragedy.
And then they will have to have him the rest of the year. So
all right, since we're talking about Barron, okay, let's talk about the men's a little. What are your take on finals day? Like, what were, or like the event in general? Like, obviously, I mean, off the air we were talking, and you were hoping that Griffin would win. So, well deserved, right? Well deserved, in my opinion. He had an incredible event.
Yeah, I was hoping Felipe, but I told you, like, I feel Griffin's gonna win his first event. He deserved more than anyone. No, I don't think. Maybe Felipe deserves it more. Surf talk, Felipe was the best and fastest surfer. Like, he was on another gear. He was another gear, man.
I would say during the event, he seemed like, through the rounds and advancing rounds, he seemed like he was the unbeatable guy. Like, it would take a lot to beat him, and it did take a lot. It was so close. It was like point 14, right? The difference in score. Yeah,
but still, I think Italo was my favorite to win this event
because of the retrospect.
Since the start, man, he surfs better than anyone on this kind of conditions, in my opinion. He just didn't beat Felipe because he couldn't catch a wave like a 5 or something. He had an 8.83.
Yeah, it's the highest score.
And then he lost.
You're right.
So that's why he got so pissed, because he knew he needed a low score, and he was gonna beat. I think on those lefts, he was gonna beat like fair and square. He was gonna beat Griffin on that final. I don't have a doubt about it. But things didn't go his way on the semifinal, and like any one of those guys, Griffin, Felipe, or Italo, it was going to be a deserve, and in the final, I think Felipe surfed better, but he caught waves that were not that good.
I agree
So
100%.
yeah, he manufactured his scores. He did what he could, but I still feel that that board didn't look very good for me in my eyes in the final. It was kind of loose and low volume,
I have a
and
question for you.
it was not
About
very his maneuvers were not that expressive, and Griffin was more with the tri-fin, the three fins. He could do more pivot,
pivot, yeah.
he could,
So
yeah,
more
he could
vertical
pivot his
surfing.
turns, more
Yeah.
vertical surfing. Sure.
Yeah. I have a question for you regarding that. So, because on the broadcast of WSL, they were saying that was the same board. So, for you guys that don't know which board we're talking about, it's a Dark Arts, which is a carbon wrapped construction. It's a lot lighter. It's a lot more. It's more buoyant than a normal board, slightly, like 1 or 2 liters more buoyant. And he was riding with a quad fin, which is also, not what you expect on the CT. I think 99% of the athletes are riding thrusters, right? So he did incredible with trestles. I thought his surfing was great, and I agree with you in the final. My question to you is more, was it because that board, the waves were too small for that board during the final? Do you think that could be the problem? That's the kind of board that needs a little more punch from the wave, or a little more hollow of a wave? Well, what are your thoughts there?
Yeah, I think the board looks better on waves that have more power and more area to turn, like
Right.
bigger turns, bigger arcs.
Because that's the quad, right? The quad, you just have longer lines.
It.
You don't pivot as much.
That's it. So those waves were really short, and you had to have more pivot. And the quads, they don't, even if you're Felipe, it looks like you're forcing the turns, sometimes.
Right.
So he had the speed and the release, but he didn't have the drive and the power and the pivot. And I could see that on Griffin's turns. They were bigger and more powerful and throwing
And the
more
waves
water.
were slightly bigger.
And he chose better waves. He sat there for like 10 minutes and then waited, and then caught hit 7.67. Even like he fell on his first waves, but that wave he surfed just on point. And some judges actually gave both waves, Felipe's and Italo's and Griffin's waves, as excellent. So there were 2 judges that gave Felipe 7.53. They gave 8.2. One of those was thrown away, and one of those was counted as the average to make the average. And the same judges gave 8 points flat for Griffin, so they liked Felipe's wave better. I don't agree with them. I can see that, but I still like it, Griffin's wave better than Felipe's. And at the final average, 3 judges gave the win to Griffin, and 2 judges gave the win to Felipe. So that's why the scores got so close.
Yeah.
And I really like when that happens, man, because it's a split decision. And I don't
just
see
shows how close. It's almost like a tie in a way.
Yeah, I don't see any unfairness, or as people say that, like, oh, Felipe got robbed, the Brazilian.
I disagree. Yeah, I think it's arguable, right? I think in the end, like, they both surf excellent. In the end, the best way we can put it, like, they both surfed excellent heats, but Griffin's waves were slightly better. So therefore, then the wave count is what made the difference. The wave choice is what made the difference, and that's fair. That's totally fair. That's like a fair argument. That's part of the game. That's part of when you, like, knowing when to get priority, knowing when to get your good wave, knowing when to let go, and yeah, well deserved. And I have another question for you. This is a little more abstract and off the topic a little bit, but given that I think Kanoa has the yellow jersey, right? And they're both not too far from age. They're both from SoCal. They both have like styles that are not too far from each other surf wise. I have a cool questioning for you. Our friend the professor says, I have a Provocação.
Yeah.
For you, it's Professor, if you're watching, hello, we miss you. But who do you see in the long term having a greater career in the tour, Canoa or Griffin? I know it's a tough one.
It's a tough one, man. I think Canoa achieved a better mindset before Griffin, but I always saw Griffin as a better surfer, a more complete surfer, and I still do. And I think it was time for him to win his first event. Same thing happened to Toledo. He just won his first event on the third year on tour.
And then won
So I
several.
see Griffin winning more events than Canoa in the future. And after, I think if Griffin keeps like getting better mindsets and tactical and the tactical aspect, he can fight for world titles easily. Surfing is there, man. He just needs more.
Right. I mean, I think he showed everybody. One thing
He's
that I
been
was
meditating now, That's why he was
able
being
to
carried,
focus.
and it was just doing like this because he's been meditating. He's been more relaxed.
Makes a difference
for his heats, and this makes a lot of difference, not
Yeah.
just a difference.
And it's like maybe one of the problems, like, when Kolohe got on the tour, everybody expected him to be like fighting for world titles. And you can see that for him, like, he's such a talented surfer. He's radical. Like, his videos, like, you can see that he can surf as well as anyone, but he just like cannot turn it on the heats when it matters the most. And it's like you said, like, I think it's 50% psychological or more, depending on the times. And until you switch that knob, and like, one of the reasons I asked you about that question is like, yeah, Canoa has a lot better results historically than Griffin, but I'm always intrigued that like he doesn't do too well in the finals. And like you said, like, that's like becomes like a twitch on your brain, like where you're supposed to take it all home and bring the title. Something is going on there that he cannot surf his best, or it's tricky.
That's it, and like he's been coached by Tom Whitaker right now,
Wow.
and he was always coached by Snake, Jake Patterson, and Jake was more aggressive.
Yeah,
he had
he's a
more
super competitive
tactics.
guy. Yeah, super
That's
competitive.
In a good way. I mean, aggressive. And Tom Whitaker is more mellow and more laid back and more strategic. He's more strategic. So it seems that Griffin got the best of those two styles of coaching, and then he found his mindset, what he needed to win events. Because as good as he is, his first win ever was last year on the US Open. So imagine that the guy surfs that good, better than most of the guys on tour, and his first win ever was last year.
It was like Dane.
Yeah.
Dane Reynolds.
QS level. Yeah, same. Dane is even
better. Yeah.
It was even better, It was even more.
I mean, like, if we talk, I just want to do a quick parenthesis here, because I think everybody that is into surfing loves to watch Dane surf. And to me, like, when I think of Dane, surf wise, like, to me, he's on the same level as like, I'm not saying he's like as successful or deserve world titles, but like in level of surfing, to me, he's like the same level as Kelly, as Andy, as like the best freestyle surfers there is, because he's so fucking radical. And obviously, if he could perform like that in the CT and every heat, he would have been world champion. But like you said, the mental part, it's a competitor thing. It's a different thing than just being a surfer.
Yeah, that's totally different.
Right. Do you think just a quick question to finish it up, like, what's your favorite Dane Reynolds, since we were just brought in, like something that comes to your mind?
Competition was that huge turn he did in Haleiwa a couple years ago, man.
Yeah,
Like
my
the
favorite, and I
guy
recommend
just destroyed the
the
close out section with a maneuver that I haven't never seen before, and after that,
Yeah. If anyone watching has the chance to watch, I cannot, most of you probably have already watched it, but I cannot recommend enough Dane Reynolds episodes of Stab in the Dark, all of them. But there's so much funny, and the surfing is incredible. And there's one that he did with alternative surfboards. So there's Stab in the Dark, which is for like regular performance shortboards. And I forgot, oh, they do, man, unusual board test. It's something weird like that. But watch Dane's episode with
the
that.
the acid board test.
Acid board test. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Go watch Dane's episode, acid board test. He rides twin fins, he rides asymmetric boards, and he rips in all of them. He rides the 610. He rides the 610 mid lane. And it's like, I hate this shit. It's just like so much fun.
That's ridiculous, man.
Yeah. All right, man. I know it's been a long episode. Thank you so much for your time. I know it's probably late there. Any last regards? Anything else you want to add that I may have forgot? Any just message to our fans? Follow us on Instagram.
I'm just gonna show this to you, man.
Oh, please. Oh, that's a make.
Yeah, see, like, look at where he did the turn, and that's not this one, the next one, this one. See, boom,
dude, that's incredible.
And look where he hit. It was just one turn. Look, the closeout section is coming towards him. There's a big wind. He turns, man, on the steepest and the hardest part of the wave. All his body, you see, is a lay back. All his body is just
in the water.
In the water.
Yeah.
And then look at this, man. This is a no make. This is no make. It's impossible.
Yeah, and it just comes out.
It just comes out clean and just, yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, there he is.
This guy is amazing.
Yeah, Quicksilver sticker still is weird to see that. Yeah,
that's it. It's been like almost 10 years, right? Because it was
I know
2012.
Time flies.
And end of the years.
Dude,
you're getting old, man.
One last quick recommendation. This is really funny. There's a video that was released by Rip Curl 2 days ago, and it's on the ripcool.com, or like it's on Rip Curl's YouTube channel. And it's Mick Fanning, I think it's Colin or Griffin Colapinto, I don't remember which one. And
it's Crosby,
Connor Coffin and Crosby. And they're on a trip in Northern California, and they surf in San Francisco, and they got their car stolen, broken into, just like every San Francisco resident. So like, it's legit. So, but the surfing is awesome, and they do the whole California coast. Go watch it.
Nice. Yeah, I like Crosby a lot, man. I think he can be even better than his brother. I don't know. But
oh yeah, he's sick. All right, dude.
Yeah, that's it.
Next week we got Matt Smith. Karuja is a maybe for that one, but I'm gonna be talking to Matt Smith from Strike Anywhere. If you're a punk rock fan, don't forget to tune in. It should be a very fun one. I'm very excited for it.
Yeah, I'm gonna do my best to be going on vacation on Monday, so I don't know how the internet's gonna be there, and don't know how. Like,
we'll do our best.
And I organize myself, but I promise I'll do my best to be with you guys here. And if I don't, I'll try to record some videos, making some questions, and then I don't know. You could just no.
I'm not that good of a video editor, but I can give.
Yeah, we can try something, but I can write some questions for you, and then you can ask them. But I'll be there. I feel that I'll be there.
All right, awesome. All right, everyone. See you later. See you next time. This was the Brazos podcast. Oh, follow us on Instagram and everywhere else. Have a good one.